All right, who doesn't love an unscripted video? Hello, welcome, Jim here. I hope you are doing well. GrassRootsPiano, where I love helping learners, in particular older adult learners, to enjoy music and piano playing. In this video, I'm going to touch upon some of the questions I've received this month, January 2025, and also some emails. So the video is cohesive, and although I did say it's unscripted and I'm being abstract, I still want to have a baseline so you, the viewer, don't get completely frustrated. So a few things I want to talk about. One of them is an older learner, and I've gotten some comments, and that's fine. 53 is still young, sir. And you can see the comment on the screen. I'm 72 and I love to play piano when I was a child. I didn't have the chance to learn until now. And I got a few of these comments. So thank you. You know, we only get to know each other to a certain amount, especially from video to screen. Both my parents died in their 50s, and I just feel the need to do what I'm doing and sharing what I've learned as a teacher for 30 plus years. I've learned a lot, and what I love about teaching, you continue to learn. But I think age is a number, and some people are very successful later in life in what they do. Was it Colonel Sanders? Did he get his business going like in his 60s? However, I'm seizing the day because I have a hip replacement, and I know I'm not getting any younger, so that's it. So just everything's relative. You know, we don't know everyone's history and all that stuff. All right, the next comment that I wanted to address for a while, this one I'm a bit punchy about, but when I'm punchy, I'm not like getting mad or trying to get back at a hater comment. No, I think we're all grown up enough to not worry about that. And I have a lot of cords here, so I don't want to hit the camera and have it fall. This one, I actually did some thinking about. And it made me look at things in a different light. And this one I think is important because it's going to get to my whiteboard demonstration. This one meaning the comment. Imagine teaching a 2-year-old how to read instead of him learning how to speak. Beatles did not learn how to read music. Why don't you teach simple songs by demonstrating how to play, not to read? I would love to learn how to play without reading, similar to the Suzuki method. All right. One of my New Year's resolutions, by the way, is to be very calm. I'm not a very intense person. So there's a lot in this comment. One, I think a lot of YouTubers would agree, or content creators, we do all this for free. And it's pretty bold to just tell someone what you want, and yet this is all free. I think there's a lot of good educational material out there on YouTube. So I think some teachers would take offense of that. I don't. So I am just like, oh, okay, thanks. So the Suzuki thing, I know about it, but that's not my experience. So I'd be doing kind of malpractice. And Suzuki actually is I talked to a string player, a friend of mine, which is very string-based, violin and cello and so forth. That is a thing for mostly younger people, but anyone can do it. But you learn sound and you learn by route, and then you are given the notation and all that. So you do learn how to read. The favorite one, the Beatles. So first of all, I don't think we should compare the average guy, me, to a Beatle. First of all, I think they were just beyond innovative, amazing. Paul McCartney did say in an interview in the 80s that he wished he had a chance to learn about music theory. And did you know that there is a fifth Beatle? Yes, the producer, George Martin, he was an educated musician, and the Beatles are educated in a lot of ways, very artistic. Educated meaning that he could read music, so George would write all the music down. And I am not a Beatle expert, but I do my learnings and all that stuff. So I've had this happen a lot throughout my career, like, oh, well, this artist doesn't have to read music, so why are you teaching me? I mean, it's the same thing. Beethoven could read music. There's just a lot of evidence when we learn how to read music, how doors open up. So a student of mine named Barbara, she pretty much dialed in and said, you know, I'm a recipe type of person. When I want to learn how to cook, I look at a recipe. That's how I am. When I want to learn how to read music, or I am reading music now, because she looks at a melody and plays it. So, the case in point, everyone's different, but I'm worried about the learner saying, well, don't do this, just do that. That's going to mess with your brain. Everyone's different. The goal is to make music. I don't know about the 2-year-old thing, because our brains are very different than a 2-year-old, and there's a lot of imitation through speak. Music's an art form, and I could get into this. I don't want to make this a huge video of just this comment, but people are pretty bold on the internet. You know, I'm a guy that went to college and did the music thing and have had music my whole life, and I'm just sharing a lot of stories and helpful tips that have helped students of mine and helped me grow as a teacher. And speaking of which, the first 2 piano lessons, I did do a tune by ear. Thank you very much. Your handle is first and last. So I am embracing your thoughts. I am trying. And on anyone who wants to geek out with this real quick, in YouTube land, if you decide to do a video and you want to just teach Saints Go Marching by ear, it will not get a lot of views. The video that I did in this case was the retirement video. That will help me get to meet people because it's an umbrella video. So there's a lot going down that I don't think an everyday viewer knows, and that's fine, but it's our job as teachers to bring that to light. I know, yada yada, but it's really important because the thing is, if I wasn't experienced, I always put myself in the adult learner's shoes. If I didn't know better, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to follow this guy. And then, yeah, the Beatles are good. I can do that. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm as good as Paul McCartney. There's just so much more to it. But just be careful when you go to different channels and say, you should do this, you do that. But this is from John. Please be more specific info related to challenges of learning piano, especially at an older age. And specific suggestions would also help. Thank you. I love all that. That's great. That's why we're here. So John, the thing that we're going to talk about, adult learners, what they run into, and I've asked a few piano teachers, and one of them being my wife, who's been teaching piano for a very long time, finger independence. That's why my last video is 14 exercises. They might be simple, but it's getting the basic finger independence. Our plasticity, our brain's a little different. The next part of the video is we're going to take a little field trip. I'm going to go to the whiteboard and show you what the overwhelming learner can go through. And this is just some variables that I have seen with some adult learners. These other comments I'm going to get to, and this could be more mainstream. I'm going to pull out some method books and talk about some skills. And I've been writing things down as I go as a teacher and some common mistakes. A lot of it can be timing and rhythm, as well as just finger coordination. The big one though is, why can't I do this at the 6-month point? So that's going to be another video, and that's going to be dialed in, and I think I'm going to have like, for what I would do, at like a little, I don't want to say training plan, but a learning plan, a basic curriculum that can help. So let's go ahead and check out my little whiteboard diagram. I know you're all excited. This is the best way to explain this, and this is more of a normal whiteboard activity. Finger coordination. All right, so we know that things change as we age, but we can still create plasticity and engagement, and this is a great way to do it. I'm going to go with the left hand first. It's a simple exercise, but remember, a lot of us have only used our whole hand our whole life, and in the world of music, piano, we use our fingers, thumbs, and all that. So this is a great exercise. I like to do it. It loosens up my muscles, and we're trying to focus on just moving one finger up at a time. You can do as many reps as you want. I usually do 3 or 4. And do we really want to deal with these today? Because these two are little buggers, mainly because of the way it works with the muscles. So you have to lift that up. When you first do it, you might be doing this, so it's a coordination thing. One little tip you can do that helps you iron out firing this finger is you can press in a little bit, okay? And this, by the way, I can't remember the famous piano teacher's name right now. I'll ask my colleagues. But this is something that, this is not just a gym thing. This is what a lot of musicians do, a classical guitarist, pianist, believe it or not, if you do a lot of computer work, because you're really working the muscles and just getting, well, for me, tension. But for the average person, you are trying to get used to firing muscles separately. Muscles meaning fingers and the muscles and all that. This finger's bent. Oh my gosh, I'm being a little to myself on these videos. That's a dangerous game to play. But I like to start with the left hand. Sometimes I start with the 5 finger. All right, but you know, I do as many as you can. Remember, the 5 and the 4 finger are going to be harder. So if you want, you can press a little bit into the board, a little bit, until you gain more control. Like right now, I'm not pressing too much. I have control. And yes, this finger is bigger, longer muscle. So don't worry about lifting it sky high. Just control it, okay? If you do this, it can be very beneficial. I've never heard of anyone doing this exercise saying that I just can't stand it, I hate it. If you work in an office or if you're at a meeting, you could do this a good amount. But there's a bunch of them. But this is one I should start doing more of every day, and you can too. And if you do like 3, 3, 3, and here you're done in, let's just say 30 seconds. And it's a very important 30 seconds. My digits feel better already. Hopefully that helps. It's helped out many, many other learners. All right, more on this stuff soon. All right, so we are going to draw a little map, and this map is kind of sharing what I have observed with adult learners through time, but also some of my teacher friends have observed, and we're talking about adult learners more or less. So I just want to prepare you that my visual artwork is absolutely amazing, and you're going to wish that I had a visual art channel. I am kidding. All right, so in anything in life, when we learn something, we don't just kind of go here, up, and we're good and we're perfect, okay? There's definitely going to be a lot of plateaus and sometimes a step back. That is where patience come in. All right, so you got the sun here. I'm using extra light, so hopefully this will make sense. The sun, kind of, okay, it's a glare, but the sun here represents our goal or goals. All right, and that means we want to play pieces, songs, X, Y, Z, whatever it is. More on that soon, because I have some cool tips. We're starting off with kind of a newish piano adult learner. Maybe we're returning to it. All right, so we would love to just do this, right? Get to our goals. And how do we do that? What do we do besides practice, besides consistent? Well, right now in lives, and I'm thinking this is for sometimes all of us, we can take detours and learn about different things and try things, and all that's good because I'm very creative and that can happen. But then time goes, and then let's just say, I don't know, we'll say 5 weeks, okay? And you're kind of wondering, what am I doing? How am I only know a scale. I kind of learned some patterns. I forgot what those patterns are, so what am I doing? All right, so we want to avoid this. This is, I don't know, if my son was here, he would think of a cool name. We'll just call this the Devil's Elbow or the Cliffs of Sadness or something. So what happens sometimes when we get demotivated, we can get down here and there's no thrill in our brain, no dopamine, and we can quit. And I am here saying this, and this might seem really simple, but I'm trying to do an opposite thing on the internet. I have found if I could get $1 for every time I saw a title that said, learn piano in just, 9 days, or you can do this in 6 months. There's definitely some shortcuts, but I'm not really the hack guy, because what happens to the hack guy, you get early success and then there's nothing much. There's not much happening. And at the same time, I'm not the guy that would just, suggest to an adult learner just play X many hours a day and don't do anything and D major and don't dare learn a song that you love. You have to mix things up. So let's go back to my beautiful little paths. All right, so we're going to call this stuff the really kind of scary stuff. At first it's not. And this is going to be kind of contradicting because this is, we're using apps, okay, YouTube, All right, I know, right? I'm on YouTube. And all of this is good, but if you're a newer learner, you might not understand what's happening methodically in regards to what you're learning, exercises, rhythm, all this. And there is a story behind this. We'll go back maybe 5 years ago. A student, I think it's Tracy, and she spent 3 years on an app, learned patterns. Okay, yeah, I can spell. Learn patterns, 3 years, but couldn't play a whole note. Now, before you go on and say, well, Jim, what matters is that they had fun doing, that's it. I think any educator and any artist wants to give you tools, all right? Tools on how to learn, tools on how to improve. That is super important. And tools are goals, and it helps you shape your mind and what you need to do. All right, so if you just clicked onto this part of the video, I don't know what to say. Good luck. All right, so the app and the YouTube thing. A few things come to mind at first. When you get to this area, you're going to be excited because apps have colors. They have teachers are teaching things differently. They're showing off. They're playing chords. They're doing all this stuff. So you might be excited, you know. Although I'm getting to meet many of you, and I don't think many of you are really interested in show-offs, which is a good sign. And you might be excited at first and then kind of motivated, all right. And then you might say, I can do that. And so you start learning a pattern, okay. And then you might get starting a little frustrated. So you'll just click off and you'll go to another video. And maybe you'll hit success, and that's a happy day. And I'm also this type of person, when I want to learn about cooking, for instance, I will go to different videos because that's the way I relax. So don't think you're doing like a bad service to yourself if you're going to a lot of videos. Just be careful on the exact knowledge you're getting, because everyone has an opinion. And this is a really important one. All right, here is the golden nugget for today's lesson. Opinions are great. However, there's many ways to learn. And I know that might seem common sense, but I have seen some great adult learners say, well, I think I'm going to buy this course and I can play this in 6 months. And it's going to be amazing. And this is like educational malpractice, because there's no promise to anything. One, I'm just staring at a whiteboard and I'm smelling this insane marker and talking to myself. But no, everyone learns differently. So when you go off, if something's not working, you're going to lose motivation. You're not going to get excited. You won't care about the patterns. So you need to back up. You need to think about why you're doing this and then get back on. I would rather hear a student play simple, okay? And I'm just going to make more room here because I don't know what's happening. There we go. At least the camera's working. I'd rather have you play, or not just me, by the way, a teacher, simple. And what do? I'm going to actually find, I have a photo on my camera. We're taking steps. Small steps equal bigger strides. That is really important. And I have to say, maybe all of you don't see this, but because I'm an educator, there are so many videos out there that are really just not doing a service for the learner. And I know everyone wants views, everyone wants money, everyone wants to sell courses, but what about just doing the right thing? And even like right now, this is me, this is my personality. This might annoy some of you. That's fine, because then you are not motivated. And that's what's great. We can go to different channels, videos, and what have you. Going back to the opinion, you have to be careful, because some will say you should not do X, okay? But guess what? That person saying that, we don't know how you learn, all right? And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about, for instance, when Barbara mentioned about, I'm a recipe girl. I like to learn how to read music because it organizes my mind on how I want to. So how do we go? I don't know how well this will erase, so either this is going to be a flop. How do we go from here to there? And I think some of you are going to get mad, because here's my answer. It's impossible to go in a straight line. And maybe there'll be something in the comments right now saying, what? You know, blah, blah. We always in life want to go to point A to point B. since we're human and life happens, we get sick, whatever, we might deviate because we need to for whatever reason. And we might go here, all right? But it's trying to stay on the track. And getting off the track is great. It could be because you need a break. Breaks are important. I had a conversation with someone last summer, and they seemed very educated, and it was through email. They mentioned that they've done so well in life, but the only thing they can't do was, I think it was guitar playing and piano playing. I believe it was guitar. And so they just started thinking about this. I'm guessing the recipe didn't work out. They didn't slow down with their practice, okay? They didn't execute, and if they did, I apologize. Patience, all right? You maybe were not practicing like three to whatever, 5 days a week, whatever it is. And there's other things. So from there to there, think about the accuracy and the improvement. And if you're improving there, awesome. And then if you're going and improving, great. But now you're slowing down a little bit because now maybe you're working on the infamous music reading, which everyone hates on YouTube. Not everyone. I'm a little exaggeratory. That really might slow you down. And then when we're slow, what do? We get frustrated. All right, and I just hit my board. That's a sign that things are getting a little too long. Oh. All right, let's say you kind of make it to here. All right, and if you made it to this point, good, spoiler alert. Any teacher will have you get to there, but what we might do is take a little detour and take a look at some goals, look at some pieces, and play music at your level. Then some people say, well, I want to do the real thing because that's what's really important to me. Yeah, so again, I'm learning German. It's pretty pathetic, but I'm trying. My level is one word at a time and some phrases. It's funny because it's a very sweet teenager teaching me, and their brains are just super fast. But anyway, we have fun and we laugh at it. If I try to keep up and do something really hard, this is where I go. I'm all about learning slowly. I'm all about small increments, small chunks. That's how it works for me. Maybe. I don't know. I was a bit goofy and just kind of unscripted and went for it. But that's how I am sometimes. If you were at my house, we were talking about music, it would be a bit like this. However, I do appreciate the comments and questions because that helps me reach all of you. And if you want to reach more people, you should check out this video, especially read the comments if you haven't yet. And there's another video too that a lot of people are dialing in their thoughts. And I go through the comments, by the way, and I feel like the thoughts are really good and helpful. And then it's a two-way street. Because even though I'm an adult, you're a learner, I'm the teacher, but I can still learn more and structure things differently. Teaching's kind of like cooking. You want to keep trying things. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.